All right, guys. Today we're gonna be watching Aztecross's one of his new videos. Why did you quit Destiny?
This was shot in front of a live studio audience at twitch.tv/Sweatcicle.
I actually wanted to take a moment to talk about this tweet that we put out yesterday.
The engagement
And
forum.
I think this is a tweet that contains a lot of answers that, well, I just didn't really have before because everyone's story is different. But serious question for any former Destiny players: why did you stop playing? And even if you took a break from the game, what brought you back?
If you came back, are you really a former player? Let me just start there. I don't feel like people ever quit Destiny. They just go do something else because there's nothing to do. I feel like these are two different questions,
Now,
but
straight up, before
besides
we
the
even get
point.
into the replies, how many of you have quit Destiny, and how many of you have quit Destiny and came back? Burnout?
Me.
Burnout made you quit?
Me.
Videos brought me back? Gotcha. I took about a year off and then came back. Yeah. Look, I'm gonna be honest, guys. Even me, I've quit Destiny.
No
Ashamed to
way.
say it. You may
No
quit
way.
Destiny at the beginning of the Taken King. I didn't even play the Taken King when it first came out. I missed out on the entire Taken King expansion. Some of you are gonna say, Cross, you're not even. How? How can you even call yourself a Destiny player? How can you even cover content in this game if you didn't even play the Taken King? But life stuff happened. Didn't play the Taken King at launch, and I didn't come back until the April update. To be honest, for me, it wasn't even the April update that brought me back. I actually
You
came
didn't
back 'cause I was
play
playing
any of the
Division.
Taken King
I was playing the
launch?
Division, and then I just ran out of
Ew!
stuff to do in the Division. I was actually having a really good
Ew!
time.
The
Wasn't doing
Division?
YouTube, wasn't streaming, wasn't any of that. And I was playing with some friends that were playing the Division, and they were like, hey, we're gonna go get on Destiny for a bit since we're out of stuff to do in the Division. And so I went and played Destiny. And next thing I know, I quit playing the Division.
I know people
playing
like the
Destiny
Division
all
1.
over
I'm
again.
more memeing.
So it was actually the Division in some
The
ways
Division
that got
2
me
is
back
rough.
into gaming. I had quit gaming almost entirely. And of course, friends made all the difference though for me, because when I came back, I was overwhelmed. Okay, just from quitting in like August of whenever Taken King rolled out, which would have been what, 2015, and then coming back April 2016, guys. I can tell you firsthand, I was overwhelmed. I remember I rode up into PvP though. I was running around with my weapons. I was noticing that the meta had obviously shifted because like my weapons weren't killing. You know, like I think my last word was not doing as well and whatever. But then this hunter runs up to me.
Is that
and
his
he's
mouse or
shooting,
my
like, he's
mouse?
shooting me, and
Okay,
then
that's
he
his.
rolls on the ground in a pile of fucking smoke. Now you got to understand, guys. I was a year one Destiny player, just missed out on the Taken King. I had not seen a trailer. I completely disconnected myself from everything. I've never seen Night Stalker in my life. This motherfucker rolls on the ground right next to me and proceeds to shotgun my ass. And I was like, dude, immediately I thought, is this guy fucking hacking? What is? And then it happened again and again. And then I go into another match and I'm shooting at a tight and he goes up in the air and he fucking dodges this way and that way. That's Twilight Garrison. And dude, I'm like, what the shit is going on right now? Now, was it overwhelming? Yes. But was it also just incredibly exciting, dude? I was like, oh my God, dude, I gotta get this shit. And then I subsequently went and played the campaign, unlocked the subclasses, eventually got the exotics. But the thing is, man, when you take time off from a game like Destiny and you come back and you feel
Gary mains were so annoying. That sounds like a skill issue, bro. You can't type that and not self-report, bro. Hit your shots, little bro.
that overwhelming feeling, it sucks. And the thing that really bridges that gap really is friends. Because, and I know D just said it, friendship is the end game. Man, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And having some friends there to just like, you know, explain a couple of things. Having my old friend group take me through King's Fall, I didn't know a damn thing. That was so nice, dude. And like the whole time I'm like, dude, I don't know what the is going on. I remember like the Oryx encounter. I didn't know what the was going on. The problem is I think Destiny's at that current spot now where some of those people that are returning, maybe those friends aren't there. Those consistent friends that are playing to help them.
90% of my friends that played back then have quit.
Let's go through some of these replies real quick. I'll hit up this thread in just a moment. Some from Makowski right here. I love PvP. Things started to turn when Stasis launched. It slowed the game down when its frantic pace was a strong suit. Then they removed in-air accuracy. Destiny became a boots on the ground game when it should have embraced being a space magician. My final hope was checkmate, but then they reversed course and never really did anything after it. This was around the time the PvP strike team was announced, which also brought me back, but then they...
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that. The PvP strike team that never actually did anything. Do they still exist, or is this like we just pretended that we didn't like announce this and then we actually did nothing? They give us 3 maps. What, over the course of 5 years? And one of those was one of the worst maps they've ever made. I forget the name of it. The one that's like kind of like Frontier. What is that one? Disjunction. That's the one. That's the one I'm thinking of. Yep. The one that everybody hates, but they keep throwing into every single playlist. Like, you can't say that, you can't sit and tell me that the PvP strike team did anything when we used to get like 3 or 4 maps every expansion.
Never did much with it. Still enjoy playing from time to time, mostly Rumble. Wild to think about how much I used to enjoy Trials, but now it does nothing for me personally. Yeah, Beyond Light was wild. Y'all remember the first time you got frozen inside of PvP? I still remember the first time running up to a Warlock and them hitting me with their ice melee and freezing me on the spot.
Oh, bro. Dude, I will never forget, because we used to have to play comp for really fast, powerful drops for raid prep. We matched Slayerage, and Slayerage had Claws of Ahamkara on, and I swear to God, I probably got frozen about 50 times. I don't think my blood pressure has ever been higher in my life. I was literally about to go head first through my wall. I just remember, dude, Stasis was the stupidest thing they have ever introduced, by far. And it could have been seen a mile away if we had any sort of common sense thinking. In what game does anybody ever want to be frozen in place for 5 seconds while their enemy is just able to shoot them? You can't fight back. In what world did anybody think that was okay or smart? I have stasis PTSD. I'm not kidding. That's probably part of the reason I stopped playing PvP was stasis. I think that's where it started to go downhill. Like, it was declining before then, but like it just nosedived.
And killing me. I think I was in the comms with Les, and I was like, what the fuck just happened? And then it happened again. And then again. And then like the shatter diving as well. Oh my lord, dude. You can instantly kill people with shatter dive.
Shatter diving
dive was instant killing. You threw the grenade down, you go in for the shatter dive, wombo combo, everyone died. You can wipe entire teams out with shatter dive. All right, from Glad right here. I'm a grinder, and I like to sink obnoxious amounts of time into games I enjoy, and I want to play content at my own pace. After years, I just realized that Destiny isn't a game that releases content on a level I would want to intake. Instead of being upset that content wasn't meeting my standards, I accepted the fact that it isn't realistic for the game to make content on that level. The game isn't made for me like that, and I cannot...
It is, though. If they really wanted to, they could. But they sit there and preach all these great values about how we don't overwork our workers, but then they don't credit them either, and they... Never mind, I'm not going to make any more jokes about the art thing, but whatever.
Not play it at the pace I want. Instead, I play the game at a different pace now. One that makes me happy and more excited. I come back for big new stuff, which is usually decent at worst, and I still put all my energy into day 1 raids, the main thing keeping me around, and low mans when it's fresh. Then I simply move on, because I've burnt myself out before, and I don't want to do it again. Additionally, being the leader of the community for a brief while during the Forsaken era, a role that you proudly wear now, took a big... Glad, who is this guy? Coming and dropping sweet shit like that.
I mean, he's right.
On me and caused me lots of stress, pressure, and responsibilities that I didn't want. So anyway, yeah, we'll always love the game dearly, just can't grind it daily anymore for my own mental health. First up, I don't think I know anyone that grinds like Glad. You know what I'm coming from? That man can pull off the most back-to-back 24-hour streams I've ever seen of anyone.
As far as
just thinking
streaming,
right
yeah.
now, I really don't know
Yeah,
anyone
I would agree.
that grinds the way I have tried to keep up with Glad. When a new game launches, I'll be grinding it too. And every time I would come back to Glad's stream, I would go to bed, wake up, I would still be fucking playing. And I'd be like, oh my God.
Literal crackhead,
my character
bro.
is never going to catch up to this man.
That's your 33 Corb.
So I get where he's coming from. I think one of the things that Glad has spoken out about is the seasonal grind, as most of the times it has felt like filler. And when you think about it, take Revenant, for instance. I know they're not seasons or episodes, but take Revenant and Echoes. Would some of you agree that Revenant and Echoes is filler?
What are you guys spamming can I stream like Glad for? Guys, there's not enough content in this game. Not nearly enough. Plus,
Breaking news, streamer Sweaty Ballsack has killed the newly elected Pope. Pope Leo has been killed and sworn Bicycle was seen celebrating. Listen.
let's go! Pope dead! Pope dead! Pope down! Shut up, bro. Shut up. Sworn Bicycle? Really, bro? Anyways, well, I forgot what I was saying. I see a lot more value in YouTube because YouTube videos stay up forever than I do on Twitch. Like, if you guys, not to get too sidetracked here because we still have a whole video to get through, but like, with all the stuff going on with Twitch recently, I'm not confident that Twitch is going to be around for another 5 years. So, I'm just throwing that out there. I might start like multicasting here soon. I'm genuinely thinking about it to like every platform that I can. No, it'd be like quad stream. It would be Twitch, YouTube, Kick, and Twitter, probably. I don't know. Well, we could talk about this later.
Would you say that's filler content? Obviously, like that, it does push the story in some way, but it was kind of filler, you know? Whereas Heresy, the season that we're in right now, has been fantastic. Heresy is actually a really, like, even from seasonal standards, one of the best seasons, episodes, whatever you want to call it, one of the best seasons that Bungie's ever done. Unfortunately, we just don't get bangers like that every single time. And then I also understand that like the activities themselves didn't really do a lot. I remember what was a few years ago, we started running into this issue of like every season brought about an activity that was like the equivalent of a public event. So
I'm going to be honest. Every seasonal activity since the beginning, like the first original Vex one, what was that called? When Shadowkeep came out, what was that activity called? The one that had Vex Offensive. They've been boring every single season, pretty much. There have been a few seasons where they're actually decent, but I'd say 90% of the seasonal activities have been boring.
some of them
I don't know if that's a hot take or not.
There's like different takes
but
on public events. And that's because those activities weren't meant to last. They were meant to be there for just that season and then cycle out. So why put a whole lot of thought into something that's
Override
not
was okay.
permanently? Onslaught
It's
is
fun
an
like a
activity
few
Bungie
times,
has
and
left
then
in
it's
the game,
just
and it's a good activity. I don't know what the numbers show for it. Gambit is another activity Bungie's put a lot of thought into. It hasn't definitely not done that well,
but Gambit could be so good. Genuinely, if they actually got their head out of their ass and took care of Gambit, when it originally came out, I played the Gambit beta at GCX 2018. It was probably one of the most fun Destiny game modes I've ever played. You know what ruined it? Not balancing. But that's the same that can be said about PvP. Gambit could genuinely be the best game mode in Destiny, and I will stand by that. I'm going to get a lot of hate for that, but if you really sit down and think about it, or if you played the original Gambit beta, you understand. That's all I'm saying.
it's still in the game. All right, from Lemur right here. Oh, one of the old
I miss
clan mates,
Lemur.
man. Games like Destiny and most MMOs in general always beg the same question. Once you get the God roll, what do you do? For
Put
me,
your
my
finger
answer
in
was
your
always
butt.
PvP. I love the grind loop of PvP in Destiny 2, and that's what kept me playing for the longest time. The lack of content for PvP, plus the slow sandbox changes when the metas were horrendous, Omni, Lord of Wolves, Void Titan, No Time to Explain, etc., made me feel somewhat neglected as a PvP enjoyer and hardcore player. One can only tell themselves it will get better with the next update DLC for sure. So many times until you just stop playing altogether.
Undead, thanks for the tier 351. Appreciate you very much. I have said this for so long, and I get hate every single time I say this on Twitter. And this is kind of like when I learned that, like, I just stopped really, like, taking Destiny Twitter seriously. How many times do you sit and cope and say, it'll get better with the next update? The future of Destiny is so bright when they sit and promise, like, all these PvP because I feel for the PvP people here. I feel like they get treated the worst out of all groups of Destiny players. They've been told this so many times where PvP is going to be better year after year after year. And I still see people to this day that are like, if you finally put your foot down and just say, it's not getting better, it's just not, I'm going to go do something else, then you get shit for it. It's like, oh, you're a, what is the word? Like a grifter. You hate the game. You're this, that. You get 15 labels put on you because you actually stand up for yourself and don't buy the bullshit anymore. And this is not, it's not to say that it can't get better, because it definitely can, but it won't until the game is near failure, because that's the only time Destiny was like truly great, is it was right after the game almost closed its doors. And we all know this. So until Destiny gets to a point where it's almost dead, I feel like you won't really see true innovation and change.
Dude, this is 2 tweets already back to back almost of PvP being the reason why people quit. What would you say the split was? Let's say Destiny Forsaken. What would you say the split in the population between PvP and PvE? Would you say
it was a lot higher?
Destiny was potentially 50-50, 50% PvP,
no,
50% PvE, 60-40,
70-30.
I do want to mention that there's
maybe
a lot
65,
of things that
35
to the downfall of PvP, and a lot of these do rest on Bungie. Even outside of this, cheating got way out of hand. It's still out of hand.
Yep.
Everything from account recoveries, man. And now we even have situations where people can crash your game when you play up against them, even on PC. It's wild,
yep.
man. It's wild. Like, who wants to play that? Dude, another PvP right here. Trey, when they nerfed Not Forgotten on Luna Sound, all that effort in solo rank PvP to just be trashed on. Sunsetting content and all the paid expansions got excessive since I took long enough of a break. Maxed out vault also was a deterrent too, due to loot management.
This is a tricky thing, because it's like, I agree, but I also disagree. After a certain point, you have to sunset things. You can't let Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten be good for 5 years. You just can't. I'm sorry, but that's the honest truth. Because then you'll never move on to anything else unless you just power creep it and the next season's something better, and then it's something better. That's the tricky balance here. And it's really hard from a game developer perspective. Again, going back to like my core philosophy of like, the more Destiny that they put into the game, it's just more stuff for them to balance. Like more exotics, more legendaries. It becomes an impossible balancing act unless you sunset. I think it has to happen at some point, and a lot of people are not going to like it or agree with it. But the only other thing you could do is literally just start a new game. What's the point of sunsetting strong guns when all bosses have damage caps? So you could actually move on to something new. And potentially sunsetting things could allow them to maybe rethink removing damage caps. Or think about removing damage caps, rather. That's a whole nother topic. We're never going to get through this video if I keep rambling about this.
I remember this conversation, guys. I remember this conversation taking place with Bungie in the community years ago. There was one side of the aisle that said, yes, I'm fine with taking that challenge and grinding for the best weapons in the game, because I know when I get them, I'm going to become an even better player. And then there was the other side of the aisle that said, this is the rich get richer, because now you got these players that are getting Not Forgotten Luna's Howl, and then they're just farming me. They got Recluse, they got Mountaintop, and they're just absolutely dunking on me now. They were already good players, And now
Yes.
they're even better players with these weapons.
Yes,
And
because
I'll
they
never
earned
get
it.
those weapons. The best weapons should be the best.
Chat, this comes down to like core game philosophy on a PvP level at this point. Is it's like the people who grinded for thousands of hours to earn the best things in the game, do they deserve to be able to shit on the noobs that have only played 20 hours because they grinded for a weapon? I think most logically you would say yes. Because like if I'm a bad player, which I think I'm kind of a bad PvP player at this point, but I feel like I used to be decent. When I first started playing Destiny PvP, I was really bad, but when I would get destroyed, it would make me want to get better. I would look at the weapons and be like, "Hey, I want to go get this gun so I can learn how to use it and be better." And it's about the grind of getting those weapons and slowly progressing, but people don't want to do that anymore, man. I feel like I talk in loops. Is it's like that's a core philosophy of a lot of generations nowadays. Is they don't want to have to work to become better. They just want to instantly become better, and they want it to just be handed to them. And that's what a lot of like pay for these insane weapons is doing. Like where you're paying and getting an exotic weapon basically just handed to you, is it's teaching bad habits, in my honest opinion. But
Best, not some random
whatever,
patrol
dude.
world
I'm just
drop
an old
doing
man
better than
ranting.
coveted comm weapons. I don't know, man. I kind of thought it was pretty awesome. Now I jump into comp, I get my rolls of like Redrix or whatever, and I peace out, you know. There's no real incentive for me to get better at PvP. There's no real incentive for me to reach a certain rank.
Yep.
I just hit my checklist and I get my weapon. Final shape felt like a fitting in. Gave this game 10 years of my life. Yo, this is from Paris right here. Tom right here. End of the Light and Darkness saga just felt like a natural close to the game. Wow. All right. Yeah, man. I mean, it's the Thanos situation, man. I mean, I don't know. Any of you guys still watch Marvel movies? I haven't watched a single Marvel movie since Endgame. It's not that I'm
The Spider-Man movies have been good. Everything else has been pretty trash.
not a fan. I mean, I guess I'm not a super fan, but dude, that shit was epic. I may come back one day and watch some more, you know, but it was such a good send-off. Oh man, Mace right here. I stopped playing when I realized that we were in the same gameplay with different mechanics and the same go-to weapons. Killed my buzz getting
Thunderbolts
weapons,
was good.
old weapons is still overpowered.
I like that movie.
That just they started, but so much more.
It felt a lot fresher than it has
Guys,
in like
we're kind
5
of in a
years.
weird situation right now because what if I told you 90% of our drops or 90% of our vault right now is going to be trash in the next expansion?
Good.
Would that turn you off? Would that make you say, F this, I'm out?
It's going to for a lot of casuals, but they'll eventually get over their emotions and come back and play anyways. These are the same people that come into Twitch chat and shit talk Bungie any chance that they get. You know, like, okay, I don't want to, I'm just using this as an example because it happened recently, but like the same people who are trash talking Bungie for the whole art scandal thing or whatever you want to call it, like a lot of the people who would complain about that kind of sunsetting are the same people who would be the first in line to play Marathon when it drops too. You know? Is like, you see this with the Destiny expansions. I see this in my Twitch chat. It's like a lot of people just talk so much trash, and then they're the first people to log on during the expansion. And I think it's okay to talk trash. Like it's fun to banter. It's fun to talk shit, whatever. But like, at the end of the day, it comes down to what purpose you have to grind. That's all it is.
We're getting tier 5 loot.
And sunsetting needs to
I think
happen.
we're still going to have good weapons that are currently in our arsenal, of course. But tier 5 drops, you know what I'm saying? I do know our armor's definitely going to be shit. There's going to be entirely new stat distributions. And once we see... like,
I think there's going to be a
sets and
lot of
everything,
tiers.
Bruh, good luck to any old armor
If-
we had.
yeah.
Destiny
Hey, Guardian.
Nostalgia, I stopped because Destiny stopped being Destiny.
Lord,
A game
Death
that
Guardian
doesn't see
goes to
itself
court.
as enough. And
Is it
feels
still
it
called a
needs-
hearing? Or is it called a scene?
What did you say? I didn't hear what you said.
Rely on outside influence isn't a game I want to invest in. The rule was bastardized, and so I don't really want to be in it anymore. Oh my god, dude. Destiny Nostalgia went for blood with this one, brother. All right, so what he's really saying here is the collapse here ruined it for him. You know, essentially we're going like, I guess like the Fortnite route. I think the issue is like...
Chat, how do you feel about the collabs? Don't care. When you say don't care, is it just like I don't care for it, or I don't care that they're doing it? I feel like those are two different things.
Good and tasty.
Thanks for the Prime Irish. Don't care that they're doing it. Kind of hyped for it, but I'm a Star Wars nerd. Need more. Destiny IP isn't going anywhere unique anyways. So you think that... Okay, let's talk pre-Star Wars expansion. You think all the other collabs that they did with other games, where it's basically just selling things in the Eververse store, is really bringing in value to the franchise? Because there's actually no new content other than skins. I don't really understand. I think a Star Wars expansion is actually... I'm open to it. As someone who didn't grow up with Star Wars because I wasn't allowed to watch it, and I don't really care, I don't think there's anything wrong with doing these collabs. It's a great way for like two games to like mingle their audiences, I guess. It's kind of like the same thing if I were to do a stream collab with Cross, you know? As it's like you're going to get new viewers going each way. But the thing is it's like 90% of this is just skins. It's just a way to milk the pockets of the consumers. It's not adding real value to the game. I think Star Wars collab is fine, but Star Wars fans are going to be really annoying about it. Yeah, because there's like two... There's people who are going to be all for it, and like...
So good and tasty?
I don't know. Thanks for the gifted Underwolf. I'm trying to think about how to phrase this. Yeah, like collabs are fine if they're tasteful or timed well. But the problem is Destiny has suffered from a lack of actual why do I play it for a long time. And that isn't being fixed, but they're still going full steam ahead on collaborations. And it really puts into perspective what actually matters, player experience or money, you know? And I don't really think I have to sit here and ramble about that. I think that's pretty obvious for about all of you guys to see and understand. It gives artificial player counts for Destiny. I don't even think it gives player counts. Because I feel like most of the people who bought... I don't want to say most of the people, but let's just say a good majority of the people who bought the Star Wars skins are that people that logged on to buy it and then logged off because they're waiting for the next expansion. I feel like that's pretty fair to say. I feel like there's a very wide majority of Destiny players that literally just watch content on the game waiting for something cool to happen or something worth playing. And I'm very aware of that as a creator. I just don't know, because that's the thing though, is like the more that people buy into like these Star Wars collaborations and stuff, the more incentive that it gives them to just keep doing them without actually putting
what really matters most
new
is
content
that
in the
Pete Parsons
game.
gets to buy more supercars. Go super fans, go. Spend that money.
Yeah.
You need to spend money on Destiny.
And you guys remember the statement that the Whisper ornament funded Outbreak Prime? Like I just don't think it's like that anymore, man. I really don't. I think Eververse, this is not a hot take. I'm gonna stand on business. Eververse is 10 times worse than it was than with Activision, and I don't see anybody complaining about it that they did back then, especially the people that were Activision haters. And I'm not sitting here telling you that Activision are saints by any means, because they're not. But people do not have the same outrage now that they did then, and it's 10 times worse on microtransactions.
There is like a lot of overlap for like people that are fans of Star Wars who also play Destiny. For instance, QJ loves Star Wars, and so super excited about Renegades and other things, you know what I mean? And I know a lot of you guys, I'm not that crazy about Star Wars, but you know, I don't know. It's a marketing play. It's a marketing play. From TDT right here, Bungie made it clear they wanted my time and my money and not to give the joy of gaming and making friends. The moment people stopped being profitable, it felt like they dropped me like a bad habit, all under the pretense of developing Marathon. it made me bitter. Dude, can I just say, like, a good 50% of the comments today are people that used to play PvP in this game. You know what I mean? No, dude, I'm actually shocked how many PvP guys have quit.
I feel like
From
it's more
Zinchi,
PvP
one of
than
our dear
anybody.
mods here, not quite sure really.
I'm curious. Let's just do it for the sake of science. Let me put up a poll. I want to know what the PvP player count is, bro. They keep that secret for a reason, and I'm not over exaggerating. There's a reason they hide their player counts, because people would actually look at them and they would get grilled. Okay, is this poll not going to work? All right, we'll just do our own poll. Put a 1 if you currently play PvP, and put 2 if you... Thank you for the raid, Ridery. Put a 2 if you used to play PvP and refuse to play it anymore because of how bad it is. Look at that. Look at all the 2s, man. I would be in that category. Somebody brought up a good point. Same 20 people in trials. A lot of my friends stream trials. Like, I'm friends with a lot of the trial streamers. It really is. Like, I literally watched it this morning. Like, I watched them match the same groups on repeat. It's just tragic. It really is. I don't know.
I think it's just lost its flair. I'll get on for nostalgia. Just don't have fun anymore. Final Shape was just a fitting end, in my opinion. Oh, dude. So, all right. So, right now, if we were to take percentage of some of these replies, Final Shape was a good send-off. PvP. From Gray, longtime player and supporter, stopped playing because the grind felt pointless without anything to chase. Came back for Ascendant comp since that felt like worth chasing again. Got the Umbro Echelon emblem, and now taking a break again because there isn't much enjoyment in PvP, at least given rampant cheating, server connection issues, and small player base.
Yep, the cheating problems
this
too,
right
bro.
Here, this is ruining my PvP experience right now. Rampant cheating, especially in high-level comp, server connection issues, which I don't even know if it's server connection issues or people manipulating their connection. Could be both. I don't know. And maybe the small player base. But when you're at like a Ascendant level comp, you're playing the same people over and over, you know. But it's unbearable, dude. It really is unbearable. There have been very few times I've played comp that I've enjoyed myself. And even in 6v6, you run into issues too. One word, crafting. Totally killed any lasting enjoyment I had about the game and dissolved any already withering loot economy. Complete and utter coup de grace for my uninstall reason. Okay.
I gotta give props to this guy because I don't see a lot of people talking about this. Crafting, I do feel like, did ruin a good portion of the game. Crafting should have been a stepping stone for new players, like an intermediary between new player and endgame player. More towards the newer player part, so they could take those steps to having really good stuff. But the fact that, like, a lot of the best weapons in the game are craftable ruins so much of the magic of Destiny. And it's not something that you can take back at this point because there are literally years and years of crafting. I don't understand crafting haters. It's one of the best things that Bungie added to the game. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. Crafting, you should not be able to craft the best weapons in the game. Because if you do, then what else? What point is there to repeat any activity ever? You get your red borders and your raids and you never raid again. Not that it's really much different if you were to, like, get a god roll from a raid to do it again, but, like, crafting just takes a lot of the magic away from the excitement of getting a god roll. That is a lot of the reason that people used to play Destiny and Destiny 1. I never got my god roll Imago loop or what is the shotgun? The arc one. The Taken King arc one. What is it called? Somebody knows. Not the Party Crasher. The Vanguard one. Matador. Or Stolen Will. Both. More Stolen Will. Sorry. Never got a God roll Stolen Will. Never got a God roll Matador. I don't think I ever got my God roll LDR. To this day. After however many years, like 4 or 5 years of playing Destiny 1 and grinding for those things, I never got it. But that didn't mean I didn't stop chasing it. Because you can go look at how many strikes I played and stuff to get packages. That is... The amount of hours spent into getting those weapons is ridiculous. And we don't have that anymore. Crafting took that away.
That's the first time wow. Mods, can we get a poll on this? Was crafting a good or bad thing for Destiny? 59%. Wow, this is actually
It's good and bad. It's not one or the other. It's not all or nothing.
Good. 42% saying
but if we
bad.
had to choose, it's bad. But it's like 60-40.
Can I tell you why I think crafting exists in Destiny? It was Bungie's only solution for addressing vault constraints at the time. That's my personal opinion. Yes, it was a deterministic way of getting your own God roll, and crafting was something that people did ask for. But there was no massive increases coming to our vaults, and it was Bungie's way of addressing that issue. Because
that just doesn't add up though, because it's like back then we had 500 vault slots, and there were only like 15 craftable weapons. In my opinion, I believe that weapon crafting was added because people were complaining about how hard it was to get God rolls in some cases. The problem of terrible RNG remains. Some of us grind forever and never get anything good. Crafting was meant to address that. What are you grinding that you never get a good roll of? Tell me exactly. I don't see why it's so hard for Bungie to make it work both ways. Crafting is perfect how it is. It's not something that you can't put it back in the bottle though. That's the part people don't understand. Is a lot of things in Destiny is like crafting specifically, once you take the genie out of the bottle, it doesn't fit back in there. That's not how it works. Are you typing, Maury? Because I'm curious. What are you grinding that you're not getting a roll for? Because I can't think of a single thing in this game where, like, I've tried to get a roll for it and just couldn't. The only thing recently that I tried to get a roll for was the velocity baton. And that's just due to very poor perk weighting, which the community confirmed was true, and they did admit that was a problem. Took me over 30 full runs and easily 50 plus second encounter runs to get jolting feedback from Vesper's host auto. Okay, so you, like, same situation here. We're both talking about Vesper's host. It's interesting that you say that. They admitted that because you guys remember when they said perk weighting wasn't a thing? This was like, what, probably 6 months ago? Like right after Vespers came out. People were mad about not being able to get God rolls from that. They said perk weighting wasn't a thing. The community provided the data feedback and said, yes, it is. And then they're like, oh, our bad. I guess perk weighting isn't a thing. It was a mistake in our code. So for that reason, I can understand that, like, getting the God roll is annoying, but that's due to the fact that they're weighting perks. That's just shitty back-end behavior. Is what that is. Whether it's a mistake or not. That's what I'm saying. I don't think you can accidentally code that. I didn't buy that for 1 second. All right, well, Maury never replied, so we're going to move on.
In this case, when you have a crafted weapon, you have just one weapon where you could change the rolls up. Versus now, where you have 5 or 6 different rolls. You got a couple rolls for PvP, for PvE, different various unique rolls. Crafting took away the grind. Crafting is great for build crafting. It's just a weird thing, dude. I like crafting, but that's because, like, I know I would have to delete so many things from my vault. In a world of hunting random rolls and everything be RNG, I would be okay with it if I had unlimited vaults. If I had unlimited vaults, I could do it. All right, wasn't accessible to my friends who had never really played. Then I switched to PC, and I wasn't willing to rebuy years worth of content I already owned. Let me just say this. This whole
You just have to
rebuying
wait for a
years worth of
sale.
content that you already own on another platform. So many gaming companies do this shit. And they always say it's for licensing. Licensing? We can't make it. Dude, I'm going to mention another game here that you've never heard me mention before. I love RuneScape's monetization.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the man?
You pay one amount per month. You can end it. You can start it back up. You can walk away, not waste any money. You get all the content within 30 days. I think that it would be very, very nice that if you owned an expansion on PlayStation, that should transfer to all your other platforms. You should be able to log in with your Bungie account, and
You should be able to, but that's
hey,
not how
you are
licensing
someone who
works.
has bought these expansions, you should just be able to play. But do I think that?
I mean, I
Is it gonna
agree,
happen? No,
but that's
because,
just
literally
not how that works.
whether it's Final Fantasy, any other game I've ever played, like they make you. Very few companies I could say that are like, yeah, you're good. Outside of like maybe like D and a few others, but
So many good examples. One example is the Last Bush hand cannon. Never got a good roll. The sniper from Blindwell, the shotgun from Garden, and many more examples from Trials, Iron Banner, etc. Can you? I mean, like, dude, I don't want to get into like an argument about this, but like, dude, if I go look at your raid report and it shows me like single or double digits of raid completions for any of those raids, I should clarify, like lower double digits. I don't know. Because when a lot of those things came out, they were I don't really know what to say about this. Cuz it's like you could just be getting unlucky, but it's like raid guns are supposed to be rare, but let's just apply a hypothetical scenario where perk weighting is a thing in raids too. You just have to blame that on the way that it's coded at that point, you know? Like, that doesn't mean that crafting is okay. Because I do think that, like, raid weapons being craftable was a horrible idea. Of any weapon group we could choose, making raid weapons craftable is a no-no. I'm a hardcore casual now. I haven't raided in 5 years, and I'm on Destiny less than twice a week now. My RNG was bad since D1 when I was a Destiny no-lifer. See, and I can understand that, but like, you can't expect to get a god roll if you're only doing like a few raids. You know? The only thing they could do is lower the perk pool. Honestly, they probably could do that since most of the perks on raid weapons are terrible for the most part. Yeah, I don't know.
most make you rebuy that shit, and they do it purposely. The zero attempt to make PvP better. All right, so another PvP comment. Sunsetting everything is a reskin, but you have to grind the new reskin because it's good in PvP this season, even though it's the exact same weapon they just sunset. 99.999% of my friends quit playing to making it hard to grind light or anything, TBH. Plus, the new season expansion grind started being the same boring stuff over and over. Genuinely felt like a waste of time and energy, when in 6 months you'll be doing the same thing again. Overtime became completely unattached to what was developing in the story, just that you have to do X, Y, and Z in order to do ABC. Don't get me started on Eververse and microtransactions, etc. That's a lot. That's a lot there. Yeah. So essentially, seasonal grind, story became uninteresting, and PvP became worse. All right, from AR here. When grinding for a title doesn't bear weight anymore, so hours spent means nothing. When proudly wearing the Sherpa title just means carrying people now. When raid report stops holding meaning and just bears bragging rights and egos. When weekly trials equals flexing KDs. When hours spent and money spent means the studio giving the bare minimum. When charity fundraising just means flexing emblems and names on posters. When passion disappears for doing quests and sometimes you just sit in orbit.
Yeah.
When you grind hours for certain roles only to not get the role and then grind some more hours and more to never get it. When you need to get raids done and posts in Fireteam Finder only to get net limiters. Oh God.
Is that still a problem? Do you guys, for those of you who do like LFG, do you guys still run into net limiters? Also, this might be a hot take. I feel like titles never really meant anything anyways. Like, as much as they tried. Yes, yes, yes. Because I thought they put some technology in place that, like, would detect net limiting, but I guess it doesn't really work. I don't know. I haven't really seen it. Forsaken titles were very meaningful. And maybe the Last Wish one when it came out, like if you were able to do, what was it, the flawless Last Wish, I forget the name of it. Yeah, I love doing raids with a full fire team on each subclass, dude. Yeah. Yeah, Petro's wrong. Yeah.
Competitive, and the first match on, you get a cheater. When cheaters run your game mode, when the fast ending game means nothing anymore, and people just flex hate, when you switch from PvE to PvP and get the hardcore weirdos who feed off drama and hate, toxicity is everywhere now. When that poisons the air, people stop wanting to play, especially if that's all they get when they log on. There's a lot said right there.
I don't understand the last part of that, but okay.
Why? Just so you don't get one-taps? What the fuck? Even like at-level raids, man, you don't die hardly. I mean, you gotta like really be dog shit. Oh, so you can one-tap bosses. Stop playing for the most part outside of day one raids. Few reasons. Number one, events. Both PvP and PvE felt unrewarding compared to other games with live events. It often felt like busy work more than a refreshing change to the game's core. This has now changed with shinies and events feeling unique. Number two, there were changes to private matches that suggested if Bungie wasn't going to consistently update the standard PvP playlist anymore, and it just never really changed until too late. The chaos touching PvP, I just came to terms Destiny isn't the game for the PvP itch anymore that it once was. Dude, so many people in here. So like I am shocked right now how many people have quit because of PvP. Number three, I felt Prismatic was the in-game update. Most games have before sunsetting their game into the next major title, where they just open the sandbox up completely. But I think this will have a negative effect long term. Players will constantly question why chase more and more new weapons for such a small change when sandbox is mostly the same. Yeah, so like, why use anything other than Prismatic? Okay.
Yeah.
I say if Bungie dropped a new subclass today, though, people would be all over that shit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
It depends how good it is. Honestly, it depends on how good the subclass is, because I do think that's a really good point I have not seen people talk about, is that Prismatic does kind of feel like the subclass update that, like, it screams go wild, and, like, we're kind of done doing big updates to the game. But I feel like the company is very desperate for cash flow, especially after seeing the reaction to Marathon, that they're pushing more expansions for Destiny because they need money. They need cash flow.
So good.
I don't know.
And tasty.
Did you guys kind of get that feeling with Final Shape that, like, that was it for Destiny? Like, I knew they would still do small updates, but, like, did you guys really think that, okay, we're done with big expansions? Thanks for the 61 Nisto. It's called The Final Shape. Yeah. It's interesting because it's like their original contract with Activision was to do 10 years of Destiny, which they did. They did 10 years of Destiny. The Light and Darkness saga was completed around the 10-year mark, right? Yeah. And they did like almost, I don't know exactly. I want to go back and look exactly what they said. But they said something along the lines of, okay, we're moving into the next, like, universe or whatever, right? And I still feel like we haven't done that at all. Like, we haven't heard anything about that. Yeah, like the next saga is what they called it, right? And it really doesn't feel like we're moving in that direction at all. Because we're about to get an expansion here in a little over a month, actually, which is kind of crazy. And it just, as far as I understand, we'll see tomorrow with the videos that we get to react to, what the content is actually about. But it to me, as far as I know, just feels like more Destiny from the reveal stream. It feels like, it just feels like the Light and Darkness saga. No one knows what the big bad is yet. I mean, people are talking about the winnower or whatever. Oh, whatever, dude. Who
Prismatic was
cares? Move
definitely
on.
something that you would see as like an in-game kind of thing, like before. All right, now we're doing the big reset. Moving on. It feels good, man. Like I actually really like using single subclasses. The other day we put on like a 1-2 punch Sithicep shotgun combo for Strand that I haven't rocked in so long. Definitely haven't rocked since Prismatic has come out. And it felt really good to just go back to that and play that.
Yep.
This is about sunsetting right here. They removed a majority of the content I paid for and never brought a lot of it back. Constant recycling guns from either early D2 or D1. Lack of real meaningful PvP changes. I was tired of the Destiny model where games launches, it's trash. Wait 1 year for a good expansion. Mediocre content for 1 year. New big expansion. Now the new big expansions are hit or miss. The expansion with Strand was the final straw. I truly felt that was one of the
He's
biggest
so
wasted
right.
money I have ever spent in a video game.
Dude, holy hot take, Harold. Um, I understand and I totally sympathize with the people that are mad about their paid content not being brought back. Do you guys think people are going to hold on to that forever? Because I feel like they are. I feel like they're always going to hold that against Bungie. I, I, I don't know if the situation would be different if they brought all the raids back and then just ditched everything else, like all the campaigns and all the other whatever was still out of the game. Maybe there would be a different perspective on it. No, but that's like $200 down the drain. I'm kind of 50-50 because like I agree with the player, but I also don't agree. Is it's like, let's just say, uh, let's say I bought Forsaken when it came out in what is it, September 2018. 2 years later, they remove my campaign, but they kept the dungeon in the raid. Do I really care? No, because it's like I wasn't gonna play that campaign again anyways. You know, people kept telling them for years to bring back Whisper and Outbreak, and we ran it all once and never touched it again. Weren't those activities free anyways? Am I tripping? How are people going to say that? Red War, Curse of Osiris, and Warmind? I just can't think. The only thing that, like, I really miss is, like, the strikes. We had a lot of good strikes that they just ditched or quite literally ruined. Like, Inverted Spire sucks now. Menagerie was cool. Yeah, but it's not something that lasts forever. And I just don't like if we're trying to look at the scope of all the things that were removed, I can't when was the last time you guys went back and played a Destiny campaign for fun? I don't even think you can go back and play the full campaign, can you? You might be able to now. I honestly don't know. After I do the campaigns 3 times on all characters, I never play them again. Since Witch Queen you can? Okay, so let's just say since Witch Queen. Have you guys gone back and played the Witch Queen campaign for fun? Because I sure as hell haven't. And we could get into like the logistics of why that is or why it isn't, but I almost don't understand a lot of this argument that like content is never brought back. Because if they did bring it back, people still aren't going to play it. If they brought back, let's just say in a hypothetical world, they brought back the Red War campaign, they brought back Curse of Osiris, they brought back the Warmind campaign, they brought back the Forsaken campaign. How many people do you guys actually think are going to go and play those things? That have already played them. We're only talking about the people that have already paid and played for these activities. I feel like it's going to be such a small percentage that it's just not worth. The only value that you get bringing these things back is the raids that were taken away. And I would say the exotics, but they didn't take away exotics. The raids and the strikes. I feel like that's it. I feel like that's what people are really mad about, but they like encompass this whole DLC as like the two things they're actually upset about. If they did bring it back, the game's file size would be bloated AF. I mean, it already is. What is Destiny sitting at currently? Isn't it like 150 gigabytes? That's just honestly like a thing with game nowadays. Like they can either learn to manage their files better or you just have to get more storage. Like we live in a day and age where you can get a terabyte for what, like $60 or less. So it's like it's just one of those things where I feel like you just have to keep up with the times, unfortunately. Games are just going to be bigger because they're higher quality and there's more content. Sometimes there's more content, but you get what I'm saying. That's not what bringing back campaigns is about. Right now, the new player is so horrible because Red War got yanked out and the game cannot grow if it doesn't get new players. Brother, I'm trying to respectfully respond without being an asshole. Red War is not going to bring in new players. People hated the Red War. When Destiny 2 first launched, people shit all over the game. The game went from meh to almost dead. They said it themselves. They were 2 weeks from closing their doors. And then they dropped Forsaken and then everything changed. Bringing in new players has nothing to do with these expansions. Rare Sweat L? You can tell me L all you want. I just know in a hypothetical world where they didn't bring it back, you're wrong. You're 100% wrong. You would not see the player count change if they put Red War in the game tomorrow. That's a fact.
Brother. Damn, brother. Dude, I was talking to Luke about this yesterday. Y'all remember the hype levels going into
I understand you're upset about getting content taken away, and that's fair.
In 11, 12,
but we got to be real.
We were all... Dude, the trailer and the marketing for Lightfall was so good. You can't say that the lead up to Lightfall was probably peak hype. Everybody was hyped. And to be honest with you, Strand was it's a fun class. And sandbox-wise, weapon-wise, we got some pretty good bangers. But you messed up at two pivotal areas. The story, terrible. The raid, terrible.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Nimbus here, back with another epic campaign.
Which queen we had? Good story, great campaign. It was wonderful, savagery, all this shit.
So
and
good and tasty.
But it's like the two pivotal pieces right there just shit the bed in Lightfall. And then just
Obscure,
like
thanks for the 16
no
months.
Explanation of anything, man. All right, let's go to this one. Let's look at something hopefully a little more positive. And even if you took a break from the game, what brought you back? I came back for Sundered, stayed for Orin's feet. But you did blur it though. But a W take.
Who is Orin?
Reals took a break after the final shape, came back for Heresy after Edge announcement. Still enjoying the game, but PvP is way too sweaty with the low player counts. Feeling like I can only run.
Oh, the emissary.
I'm primarily a PvP player. Well, it's like that. Low player counts, cheating, and I don't know, man. The servers have just gone to shit, dude. Everyone's connection.
The servers have always been trash.
It's like Destiny's really showing its age. I mean, it was already showing its age, but it's really starting to show its server-wise. You know, this is what I think the solution should be. Merge PC and console lobbies. And that way, you know, we can all play in the same pool together. I think.
Cross? I don't know if he's like just joshing here or if he's being serious. You guys remember what happened when they did merge lobbies for the tower? My load times from the tower went from 30 seconds to it takes me 5 minutes to load into the tower, and that's not an exaggeration. I will literally go do a data study on how long it takes to load into a console tower. It's actually horrendous. You get punished for playing on better hardware just because they decided to merge lobbies.
I think it'd be fantastic. The servers are tied to player count cross. Less players means longer distance between players to your connections. All right. Well, Bungie, give us Marathon's dedicated servers. I don't know. Is that possible? Can we just borrow them until Marathon comes out? Not how that works. Tell me how it works. The server architecture is unique to Destiny 2. Yeah, who sent you? Fucking Bungie? Huh? Yeah, he sent you right now? That sounds like some bullshit. That's what that sounds like. coming here telling us just to eat shit is what you just said. Play 10,000 hours to the final shape, play the campaign, and then Excision on my Titan, and finally just took a break. After Forsaken, I was one of the few with a max Triumph score in every title, etc. But I did those things with clanmates and friends. The more challenging they made the game, the more people dipped. Play your way, play with friends, never delivered. Harder in-game led to more toxic in-game communities. They suck the fun out of the game. Soloing GMs and dungeons, doing raid low mans, it's not fun. The bragging rights are hollow. What brought me back was playing with friends again. The magic of this game are the experience and memories we forge with friends, whether the content is difficult or not. Dude, I've said it time and time again. You want to make this community behave publicly, you got to incentivize them. Final Fantasy XIV does a great job of having a commendation system that is a currency. You play a dungeon with somebody, you're in Duty Finder, you load up with someone, and you do a good job helping them out, and you get to the end of that, they can commend you. And then you could take that commendation point and go buy gear or items for like whatever. I can't tell you how many times I typed the word, like it may be the equivalent of like, you dumb fuck. And I was just about to hit enter. And then all of a sudden, a voice in the back of my head said, wait, Cross, you need that commendation. And I would hit backspace. And then I would proceed to type how to do the encounter. That is the power of incentivizing your players to behave. You gotta make it a currency.
So good
I've screamed it since the beginning of the commendation system. The commendation system now literally means nothing.
What is Cross just literally? He's just not even talking about anything this guy was saying. Are we just gonna completely ignore the fact that he said the more challenging they made the game, the more players dipped? It's the exact opposite. It's the exact opposite. The game only got easier. And like, okay, this is not oh god, I can't wait for the elitist comments on this one. But let's take the most extreme example. If this guy, if you look up his raid report, god, I feel like such a loser saying that. If he doesn't have like day 2 last wish, I don't want to hear it. I really don't. You cannot sit here and tell me that the game got harder when it literally got easier. So many weapons and exotics I introduced to make this game so easy. Which is not a problem for like most things in the game. But to sit here and say that like harder endgame led to more toxic endgame communities. LFG has always been toxic. It always has been. And unfortunately, it will always be that way just because that's how, like, sadly, the nature of gaming is a lot of days, like, I don't know, you're just going to run into shitters. This is not exclusive to Destiny. So saying they suck the fun out of the game, you just got to look in a different place for people to play with. I feel like this is such a user error problem. Not to like, I don't know. LFG is made for people who can't keep a friend group. Not necessarily. Like, you got to understand everybody's got to start somewhere. You don't just log into the game and have people to play with. I found a lot of the people that I like first started to play with through LFG. I found, like, dude, I basically had nobody to play with when I started playing Destiny, bro. I had like 1 or 2 IRL friends that played sometimes. I literally, I did everything that I did in my journey mostly was through LFG up to a certain point. Toxic LFG is why you brought up Final Fantasy XIV. See, and I'm not a Final Fantasy player, so I guess I didn't really understand that reference. But yeah, saying the friend game is the end game, that's fair. I agree with that, but like, no. The rest of that is a bunch of utter
accommodation system should
garbage.
Work too, is you should only be able to commend one person on the team. That person's got to stand out.
Except for, wait, the one thing I will say, play your way and play with friends never delivered. He is right. Play your way has never been a thing. They did improve it a little bit, but they never actually fully delivered on that. I think he's right on that part.
You should only be able to commend one person on the team. that person's got to stand out. It makes everyone behave
so
really,
good
really
and
well.
tasty.
Everyone's fighting for that commendation, and only
Actually,
you
guess
can
I'm
only
tired.
commend one person. I just think that combinations right now they're too freely given. They mean really nothing. You need to make it a currency inside of Destiny. You need to have coveted items for that currency, and this community will change overnight. I can't tell you how many people will suddenly start behaving. Everyone would suddenly become nicer. People will start being friendly to each other. If you've got ornaments that you can buy for commendations, if you've got skimmers you can buy for commendations.
Whoa. Slow down, Cross. We're using common
well
sense. Stop it. Stop
My
it.
friends purchased the DLC for me on PC.
Okay, just for a reference, Tyre, how did we meet? Did we meet through LFG? Do you remember? Maybe. Because it was either through someone I met through LFG or something of that nature. Because that's how I met a lot of people that I know today, is like through friends on LFG, or just by LFG. I met my core friend group through LFG. I want you guys to put a 1 in chat if you found a lot of your like core Destiny friends through LFG, whether it was through mutuals or whatever, and 2 if you didn't. Okay, so like a mixed bag, maybe like 50-50. Found them through Twitch. Twitch is another great option. I feel like Twitch is a better, Twitch is a better LFG. Twitch is a lot better LFG than like the actual LFG itself. And that includes in-game LFG and the Bungie.net one, which are basically the same thing, but you know. I forgot what I was going to say. God damn it. I play solo like a real goat. I'm happy for you, bro.
See, after playing it entirely on Xbox, the returning user experience placed me in a Google search for as much time as I was playing, so I uninstalled. Now, we're supposed to be in the thread that talks about why you returned, not why you quit, but I wouldn't be Google searching shit, dude. I don't even know what Google pulls up a lot of things. Maybe AI can help. I don't know. But there's so many things. Even our own videos are outdated. Like if you pulled up an Outbreak quest guide for an exotic, you got to look at what year it came out, because there's a good chance you could be watching a guide on how to get the weapon on a destination that doesn't even exist anymore. So you got to like navigate.
Sounds right.
Is this the right guide? Is this a recent guide? Has this come out in the past year? One, watching you being a mod for a streamer whose main game I lost enjoyment in, mostly because, I don't know, maybe everyone just got ahead of me, or I was just burnt out, washed, I'm still washed, and needed a big fat break. 2, the PvP, I came back to Destiny 2 this past weekend, and now I've been playing like I used to. Of course, I've been streaming it, but at the same time, I remember one of the main things I loved about Destiny, the PvP. As weird as that statement is, I enjoy gunplay, enjoy the grind, and overall, man, it's been a minute, and it's time to come back and carry cross. Yeah, Diesel also likes to play Ice Flare bolts on fucking Warlock and Stasis and just freeze everybody. So
that's why he enjoys PvP, bro.
Boo! Was no longer interesting. There was no excitement.
He's that guy.
There was no excitement to see what Xur would bring on the weekend. The story was never interesting, but it was getting worse in Destiny 2. I only come back every now and then for Ironbender. I remember in D1, I used to get up early on the weekend to see what Xur would bring. The random way to reward exotics was much exciting and addictive. There's nothing in Destiny 2 that compares to the joy of getting exotics in Destiny 1 from any random events.
Yep.
Brother, that shit was rare. We didn't wake up to see Xur on the weekends because we wanted to. Maybe some of us did. We woke up on the weekends to see Xur because we had to. Because you didn't see that shit. All right, from No Land, I came back because other games were boring me. I'm still not into it like I was, probably never will be again, mostly because I'm not playing with the clan now, but the solo options are definitely what are keeping me playing. LFG and their inner matchmaking is awful, probably because the community is too elitist for me. The jokes about clears and must have this gun or that gun are definitely based on real experience. So in summary, the community kind of killed it for me.
Dude, I hate this mindset. Like, I don't know. Could you say that the majority of the Destiny LFG is toxic? Probably, but it's like this is gonna be really cringe, so I don't take this too seriously, but like it's kind of like dating, where it's like you're gonna meet people that are just shitty and you don't like, and there's gonna be a lot of that. You know, that's just how it is. It's like if you're not willing to do the searching, you're not going to find people that you like to play with. You can't go into two groups and go, oh, they're too elitist, they're too this, they're too that. It's like, I don't know. It's hard to speak because it's like you don't know how many groups these people have been in, but it's like, I don't know. I really feel like it isn't too hard to find a group of people that are nice. And as someone who has done like undercover things, like for videos and stuff, I've found a lot of people that are incredibly nice, bro. And I have video examples of that you can go look at. And it really, like, I don't know if I just got lucky in the first try, but me doing it on multiple video occasions, I don't think it's a coincidence. It's about where you look and how much you look.
Dude, Bungie, you gotta add the commendation system. Only allow one to be given out per activity and make it a currency and fucking put a skimmer, put ghost shells, put ornaments.
Dude, Cross just really has a hard on for these skimmers, bro. I don't know what it is.
System. This community will get a lot fucking nicer, dude. I don't understand why this has not been added. This is such a no-brainer approach. I mean, this has got to happen. As a Destiny 1 vet and 10,000 hours in Destiny 2, I got tired of the lack of PvP support and inability to deal with cheaters. Also got sick of some weapons, abilities, or game mechanics not being properly fixed or changed when they weren't even an issue. One step forward, two steps back became a regular occurrence. There were so many things that made PvP great early on, but it just kept getting worse and worse over time. It felt like they either didn't care, were out of touch, listened to the wrong people, or made changes for money. Those small things.
No.
Those small things added up very quickly.
They would never make changes for money.
PvP became more of an annoyance rather than something I enjoyed. Another PvP take, man. I mean, dude, there's a lot of people that said they've quit because of PvP. Oddly enough, it makes me want to go play comp right now. I guess it's just like pain.
Cross, let's boot up comp, bro. Let's see how many cheaters we can find.
Bungie doesn't want anymore. Came back because I like loot and my friends keep convincing me that Bungie is going to change, like I'm in some sort of toxic relationship. Maybe Edge of Fate will shake it up. But to be honest, at this point, I want Marathon to be good and for them to beat the odds and make it a success. Because I think Destiny 2 PvP is essentially dead. All right. The one guy rooting for Marathon here, huh? Hey. If PvP is the dejected child, what is Gambit? That's a great point. I took a break and just came back. This is from him jamming. I've been playing Destiny since the D1 Alpha on PS4, and I played pretty much daily until around after the Witch Queen. And that's when I started having bigger bouts of not playing. I played Lightfall in the final shape enough to finish the campaigns, but that was it. I just started playing again after the last stream and announcement of the new saga because I'm hoping it'll be something fresh, but I'm keeping my hopes in check. My problem with Destiny is that Bungie used to be known for innovation. Now they're just the Taco Bell of...
No. No, we are not. No, I will not tolerate Taco Bell. I'm writing a twit longer on this guy, bro. That's it. I've had it. I've had it, bro. No.
Game developers using the same ingredients over and over again to try and make
Taco Bell is goated, bro.
The new classes, the new abilities.
It is literally like the best fast food.
Destiny 3. Destiny needs a new fresh start. Bungie leadership needs to let some of these hungry young developers cook. Damn, brother. Damn. Got compared to Taco Bell. Been playing for over a decade now. Been here since the beta. I have my drought moments. Could simply be burnt out from playing over the years.
Mods ban everybody who's saying false. Your toilet must be goated for taking all that shit. Listen, bro. I've never had that problem with Taco Bell. And maybe that's why I like it so much. Like, don't get me wrong. A lot of the things on the menu I don't like. But, like, the items that they have that are good are really good. Are really good, bro. Y'all just wouldn't get it, bro. If you've never had... Bro.
Have you ever had a Baja Blast at like 3 a.m.? Okay, just picture this. Just picture this. It's 2015. They still have the quesarito on the menu. You go to your local Taco Bell at 2, 3 a.m. You ask them for 2 chicken quesaritos, 12 Cinnabons, and a Baja Blast Freeze, and a cheesy Fiesta potato. There's no better way to spend your Sunday night than playing Iron Banner with your boys in 2015 with Taco Bell. You just wouldn't get it if you weren't there. You're. I'll say it.
You're not a Destiny OG if you didn't experience that.
Years, but the online friends I made over the years keep me coming back. My clanmates and streamers like our physics, Save the Blade, and Epic Dan. Gotcha. Dude,
12
telling you,
Cinnabons? Dude, this
social
is
features pulls
pre-Fatsicle,
people
okay?
back. That is why Bungie needs to prioritize social features.
So good,
dude.
bro.
It's gotta happen. Some of you are like, I don't fucking need friends. I don't need social features. Look, that's the shit that grabs you by the balls. You hear me? Clan housing, good social features, accommodation system that actually means something. I'm wanting a less stressful gaming experience. Enjoy the season's story, the fun builds, and I actually like gambits. Super casual approach. I play rivals for my sweaty PvP games. Wow, this is the first comments about gambits. The gambit players haven't got shit. I tell you what, like stuff like this, I'm wanting a less stressful gaming experience. I think in the past we would have ripped old Brandon here. However, as a community, we need to change.
People have the wrong perception on Gambit, dude.
The stresses of what Destiny brings to some players and find a way to bridge that gap. Allow for their experience to be an enjoyable experience. Perhaps even play with them inside of Strikes or Gambit, as he likes. You first. I'm doing it right now. When I first read that statement, originally I wanted to say, get good. I wanted to say, how about just don't be a bitch, all right?
Yeah,
But
that too. Let him know.
Instead, I'm extending the olive branch to then maybe bring Brandon back into Destiny. After 1,500 hours, I just hit a wall where nothing excites me anymore. The fire to boot up the game and earn the loot or find Xur eventually fades away. Brother, find Xur? When was the last time you played, Justin? Xur's in the same spots? 1,500 hours, this motherfucker's a casual. Whoa. We need to calm down with comments like that. That's the thing. That's that toxicity they were talking about. We got to calm down with that shit. We sound like a bunch of haters in here. You hear me? When someone says 1,500 hours, we don't need to. Casual should not be the first word that comes to our mind. Let's adept. You must be an adept guardian. Wow. We need to use different terminologies that aren't as harsh. 1,500 hours adept. Someone's less than 100 hours. Oh, you must be a new light. Right? That's much better than being like, what's up, noob? What would be between 100 hours and 1,000 hours? What would that be? We got to come up with different terms here, guys. Explorer. Oh, you're at 400 hours right now. An explorer, are we? Whoa. I'm serious, guys. We got to quit being toxic, and we need to just find ways to not fuck people every opportunity. You know where I'm coming from? We need to find ways to fucking,
Burger.
Give people a status that isn't patronizing them. PvP brings him back. Dedicated servers is really what I want as an indicator. Bungie is serious, but I see a post saying how it has improved balance, new maps, etc. I'm listening. Single player content can get me there too, but they really need to change it up. Honestly, dedicated servers would be a huge message from Bungie. If Bungie was like to roll out and be like, so listen, dedicated servers, we're doing it. Destiny, you're getting it. That would be, oh, so you fuckers are serious. Stop when crafting started, came back.
Most people that say 1,500 rookie numbers, 1,500 rookie numbers unironically are no lives. I've seen people's playtime of games who work full-time jobs and they have 100 hours and say, I feel like I waste my time. What's wrong with that though? Because before this was my job, I had thousands upon thousands of hours in Destiny. I was a full-time student on double music scholarship doing French after school. You can't. I just feel like it's not an excuse, man. If you have like 2 full-time jobs, I can understand that, but like, it's kind of like, I feel like it's the same mentality of people who always say, oh, I never have time, when in reality they do have time, they just don't make time. Don't get me wrong, I'm guilty of that too, but yeah, that is one of my core philosophies of life I've learned as I've gotten older. You will make time for the things that you do enjoy. That is 100% true. That may not be true every day of your life, but that it is very, very true for most people, especially in America.
Back when crafting ended, the most part ended, I guess.
A lot of people are not gonna like that.
Getting the god roll to drop is the best feeling. Didn't get that same feeling seeing a red border. Yeah, that's fair. Dude, man, Bungie's gonna have to figure out how to address vault constraints, guys. If you're gonna have me farming for multiple roles, we've got to figure something out.
Yep.
Because my vaults, I'm having to say goodbye to some roles I never wanted to say goodbye to. Some of you y'all call it shit roles. No, they're God roles. They're fantastic roles. Roles that I work for, that I'm having to say goodbye to. It's tough right now, man. I think the only people that are not hurting are people that play one character and maybe either just PvP or PvE. All right. I don't think there's any other comment from this.
He has 100 class items, by the way.
I don't believe. What did we learn from all these comments, guys? I learned that the Destiny community is a little toxic. Now, I know some of you may say, well, that's no fucking brainer. It's kind of shocking to see how many people say that the community is toxic. I actually didn't know.
I'd be concerned if they weren't.
So we got to clean it up. We got to be better. And I will say, going
to some
into,
degree,
starting now until the release of the next expansion, we are going to try to be more positive in the community. And I think this is something that we should all do together collectively. Okay. The second thing that we saw the most of was that there was...
I don't get why you hate some people only have one character, bro. It's a jab. If you take it that seriously, like take it up with HR. Okay. It's not that serious. Like so with tier 1 Durden.
There's a lot of people that quit because of PvP. I got nothing. I got no answers for that, guys. I know we have a PvP strike team. I don't know.
No, we don't.
Can I tell you what happened to the original PvP team? You're not going to like this answer either. Some of them left Bungie and went to go work on Concord. The rest went to go work on Marathon with the Gambit team. Maybe those guys staying back and playing or working on Destiny may have made PvP better. I'm not sure. Sorry, Cross, but you're forgetting Chris Proctor. Huge blow to Bungie. That's the other thing, man. Bungie has lost some incredible talent. We've lost, in the past 12 months, Joe Blackburn, Chris Proctor, some higher ups, but I don't really know exactly what they were working on. Luke Smith and Mark Noseworthy, and then a bunch of other people too, of course. That one creepy guy, Christopher Barrett, that's different. Yeah, his situation is way different. Truth or dare, I'm not playing no dragon. So PvP crafting was actually a comment we saw a lot of why people quit. And then like other things like sunsetting and stuff.
Apparently Bungo hired people that worked on Concord to work on Marathon. Well, that adds up. What was the other thing he said? Something.
Not playing no dragon. So PvP crafting was actually on Luke Smith and Mark Noseworthy, and then a bunch.
Yeah, the people leaving, bro. People were gaslighting the hell out of me when I said it was a big red flag when Deej left, in whatever year that was, bro. I will forever be angry at Destiny Twitter for that. That is on my list. Is it like when somebody who's been at Bungie that long and just gets up and leaves? If that doesn't raise a red flag, I don't know what does. And I said that back then. You can go check my receipts. And nobody believed me. And then more people started to leave over the years. More and more and more and more. And now here we are.
Other people too, of course. That one creepy guy.
I feel like that was the start of it.
That's different. Yeah, his situation is way different. Truth or dare, I'm not playing no dragon. So PvP crafting was actually a comment we saw a lot of why people quit. And then like other things like sunsetting and stuff like that. But it was surprising how many people said they quit because of PvP. And then a lot of people said they quit not for anything that Bungie necessarily did wrong, but for Final Shape being over. It was the send-off for them. It was the conclusion to
that makes
the
sense.
Light and Darkness saga. And
but I feel like it shouldn't be a surprise that people left because of how bad PvP is.
People from quitting. Because y'all remember the video last year was like, find me the video where Luke Smith starts off the Vidoc for Final Shape. He's like the first clip, and he's like, this is definitely not the end of Destiny. Okay, this clip right here.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. I have never felt more fucking lied to than this damn clip right here, dude. Keep in mind, this clip rolls out. What date did it roll out? It was like April 9th, 2024. Holy shit, dude.
Hey everyone, this is Luke from the Destiny team. The Final Shape is the culmination of a 10-year journey. A journey that began on the Cosmodrome, took you to the moon, Venus, Mars, the reef, and beyond. It's a journey that'll end inside the Traveler with you facing the Witness. But facing the Witness is not the end of Destiny 2, and it's definitely not the end of Destiny. After you face the Witness, we're gonna tell you what's coming next to Destiny 2 and beyond. We'll see you soon.
Dude, I just feel like I was straight up lied to. What actually happened? Final Shape rolls out. 30 days after the Final Shape rolled out, Luke Smith, this man is gone. He's no longer at Bungie. He fucking leaves. Whether it was let go or not, I don't fucking...
Chad, at this point, when he recorded this, do you guys think he knew he was about to leave the company? or be forced out. Allegedly. Because part of me, like, when I look into this man's eyes, it's just like, do you guys ever get that, like, sixth sense feeling where you're just like, something isn't right? You can see the golden parachute in the background. Honestly, kind of looks like your thumbnail face. Bro, what? What are you talking about? Should I do this for the thumbnail of this video?
No, I don't know, dude. I just feel like we were just majorly baited from that, right? And this clip has lived in my head. It was like, dude, like Luke, did you not want to like put up, like, could you not just put up a tweet? Like even like a goodbye, like a hey guys, we had a lot we were gonna talk about, but I don't know. I'm piecing the fuck out right now. You know, it's something. But look, hold on. Like the fact that
I just don't think he left though. I think he got forced out. Because this is allegedly the same thing that's happening to a lot of people who have been there for a long time, is they were being forced out so Sony didn't have to pay them millions upon millions of dollars because of the equity that they've earned over their career there. That is allegedly what was going on, is they were looking for any reason to get these people out of the company. And I don't think it's a coincidence that all these big figures left around the same time.
that this was said, he says, this is definitely not the end of, hold on.
But facing the witness is not the end of Destiny 2. And it's definitely not the end of Destiny.
This is sad to watch, bro. This is
tweets. Y'all not remember the tweets that Luke was dropping? There will always be 3 of the same word. And we were like, what are you saying to us, Luke? What are you saying right now? Is there a Destiny 3? The illusion was that D3 was happening. Now, you could say technically he wasn't lying. We do have more Destiny 2 coming. And if he meant that there is more to come, Destiny Rising is that more to come. But it definitely was not, I don't know, just all this whole lead up made us think that there was a D3. Luke looks so damn good now. Yeah, he looks good. Looks like he's been in the gym for the past fucking 10 years. I need a D3, man. Look like he got a personal trainer. I'm not saying that you can't get a personal trainer and still dev. Tell me, man. You tell me. He did walk away from Destiny a multi-millionaire. Yeah, I mean, dude, they made a lot of money. If there is something to take note of from the Christopher Barrett case that is disclosed the amount of numbers, Luke Smith probably walked away with $100 million, maybe more.
No,
you know, some of the other guys
not that much.
Away with just as much.
No.
At first, I was like, what the fuck are these guys gonna do now? You know,
how long has Luke been there? Does anybody know how long Luke Smith was there? Can I Google this? How long did Luke Smith work at Bungie? 16 years? Okay, well, actually, maybe. I didn't think he worked there that long. He could have gotten potentially $100 million payout. But again, I think a lot of that was chopped away because his equity was stripped by being forced out of the company. So Sony didn't have to pay it out.
Just go sit at home.
It's probably still tens of millions of dollars, so it's like at that point, whatever. I mean, but like,
was this entire clip recorded just to bait me? Was it just to bait me into final shape? Not that you had to bait me. I was already committed to the final shape. We were going to see that shit through. But dude, this really just felt like super bait, man. They made us go, ooh, what's happening beyond this? All I'm saying is this clip right here, I felt baited. I felt deceived. I'm just letting y'all know. I felt deceived. And Luke Smith could be probably wiping his tears right now with $100 bills saying, I feel for you, Cross. But maybe not. Maybe not.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.
Slap that like button. All right. Well, I know this was a really long react because, I mean, we had some good conversations in there. I guess to wrap up, there's still a lot that I feel like is going to unfold over the next year or two. I'm very interested to see what happens with this Chris Barrett lawsuit and, like, again, the other people that were allegedly forced out of the company. I think there will be news about that at some point. But I'm glad that people are finally starting to wake up to the lies and, like, just go play other games, man, because there's lots of other games to play. Sadly, not a lot of quality ones. because of how bad the microtransactions have gotten in today's day and age. But like, this is a pretty good video from Cross, some good discussions overall, and yeah, I think that's about it. Until the next React YouTube. We'll see you in the next one.